We may have missed. There we go. It's on.
All right. Welcome back to another show, Elementals. This is the Four Elements United. Wait, am I hosting today?
No.
I
I
Well,
didn't
I
make
mean,
sure.
whoa,
mean,
you didn't get the you
I
didn't get
didn't
the
get
memo.
the I didn't get the memo. Exactly. Well,
Oh
let me just
man,
let me just pretend like I'm hosting and then we'll figure it out as we go.
I'm actually doing a
Uh,
part two from last week. So let me.
so I guess I'm just gonna have to like straight up take the lead on this one. I am your host. I am Water.
Earth.
I am wind.
fire.
And today we have an interesting show that wow. I have to be honest with the elements right quick, a heart to heart. We didn't talk about this in our pre-show, but I don't have any notes, guys. I don't have any structure, anything for this conversation.
Mm.
This is about presence. This is about being in the present moment. And so I figured that with that, I would, in the spirit of being in the present moment, I would actually just host a show without structure. It's a little bit different than what I usually do. And I am just going to wing it. Okay? Wing it. So, with that being said, what I guess let's start out with the elements. Being in the moment. Right? A lot of people throw this term around. I stay in the moment. I'm present, all this. What does that mean to you when you hear being in the moment, being present? So before we get started, we hear a lot of people kicking that around. A lot of people saying, "Yeah, I'm just going to be in the moment. I'm going to," but are they really being present? Are they actually in the moment? So I'm going to open it up and let the elements, like, what does that mean to you, being present, being in the moment, or being present, not in the moment, however you want to describe it? Maybe it means something different to you.
Okay. I'll kick it off.
All right, good.
So first, I take the first word, which is being. Just to be. That's it. Just be. And in being, you're just able to be with life how it is and how it isn't. Life is how it is, and it isn't how we want it to be. And just be cool with that. Just be. So mine was short. That's it. Just be.
I like it. Just be.
Guess I'm next then, huh?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
Maybe.
Um, so when I hear that, I mean, it sounds a little bit weird to me because where else you gonna be other than now, other than the present, you know? Um, but I understand, and we often, live in our own heads, right? And so our minds, have the capacity to go forwards or go backwards, and a lot of times we're impacted by past thoughts, or we're fearful of what's going to happen in the future. So being present is just relaxing and enjoying the right now, and just being in the right now, not being concerned about the past or being concerned about the future.
I like it. Fire.
Yeah, I'm gonna apologize in advance, guys. I got this. Every inhale in my nose is like I'm snorting pepper or something, and my eyes are water. So if any elementals see me welling up over here, it's not because I'm sad, and it's not because I'm high. Okay, it's because I got some sort of sinus thing, some sort of allergy thing going on, and it's annoying. All right. All right. That being said, I think when I think about presence, bro, I think about the absence of guilt, the absence of shame, which are typically past based. I think about the absence.
Think about the dog barking.
Yep.
Nice. Talking about being in the moment.
Let me take a pause and just to expound upon what Water said.
Feel like how it is and how it isn't.
It's being with life. Look, I am being present. The dog is barking. My daughter is calling me, Dad, Dad, Dad. My Apple Watch is blowing up because my son Aaron is at practice trying to get picked up, and he's blowing me up back to back to back to back to back. And I'm like this is life in real time. And this is why this is a prime example. You're still calling me Dad. What do you want? Get your mom. Get your mom. I can't handle that right now.
Nice.
So
talking about being in the moment, at the same time, someone's knocking on Earth's door. You know, like, I mean, this is just
you know what? This is perfect. This is just perfect.
Yeah. You know he's got a whole party. Look at that. There's like 5 people coming to this guy's house.
Like, you know, like, listen, elementals. This so I didn't even get to the part where we beat ourselves up looking in the rear view, looking at, you know, the things we did or didn't do as well as we'd like it. That's shame, guilt, the past, right? Then we focus on the future. Some of us say that I'm a planner. So, okay, so you're always 2 steps ahead, always down the street and around the corner. All right, 5-10 years. That's not present. And I think we have become so conditioned with distraction that we don't even acknowledge it as distraction anymore. It's just the isness of our existence. And so, man, presence is quite honestly elusive. But I will say, when I get a chance to just 15 minutes, 15 seconds, it is a very blissful state. So curious to hear what you think, Water.
Well, you guys know, we've talked about it over the long years that we've known each other. I'm a huge fan of Eckhart Tolle, and he is, you know, the author of a book called The Power of Now, where he's the whole book. I can't believe he pulled it off, but the whole book is about being in the present moment. That's literally all the book is about. However, it's a great book because I'm like, man, he needs to write another one because I have more questions. And so, you know, his whole thing is basically that presence and being in the moment is literally, I'm paraphrasing probably really horribly. However, it's being not thinking, but still being awake. That's my awful translation and paraphrasing of the way that he describes it or whatnot, which is really interesting because you talk about athletes, fire your former professional athlete, in the zone. You talk about moments where our life is blinking before our eyes and we have to act. A lot of times in those situations, there just isn't time to think. You just are actually being literally in that moment. And if you do think in the game, the person will go right by you or whatever happens in the game. And if you do that in a life or death situation, you may not make it out of that situation. And so I tend to agree with his definition that it is not think, you know, being able to be awake and not think. Yeah. And so my question for the elementals, as well as the elements, is what percentage of time do you think? Wynn's got that smile on his face, like, you know, he's like, yeah, I'm 100% not thinking, man. I'm always in the moment all day long. But elementals, what percentage of the time would you say that you actually are able to accomplish that? And I'll start just by saying that, hey, listen, I mean, I got to be honest. I literally have to force myself to meditate, to not think. I have to force myself to sit down and not think, because if I don't force myself to go sit down and take some time, to practice that, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Is not thinking being present though?
You tell me. Look at that guy. That guy's got some questions. Look at him. Come on, Wayne. What kind of questions you have for us? What else?
That's it.
Is not thinking being present. What do you guys think?
So I think it's in that same book. Eckhart talks about presence, the power of now, and consciousness. So this is the way I got it, and the way he describes it is, I remember it was Larry. Larry was like, Larry's our landmark forum leader, and he said, I have biology, I'm not my biology. And you remember that? Remember he said that? And it resonated with me, being somebody who struggled with his biology, right? And his maleness. We can get into that in another show. But what Eckhart was saying that is related to that is, he said, you're not the one thinking and feeling. It's not who you are. You are the one. You are the observer. You are the one who is observing the one who is thinking and feeling. And when you like, when I was reading those words, bro, I was like, whoa. Like, as I was reading and listening, because I listened to the audio book, just so you know, unlike the 4 Agreements thing that happened the other week. I felt myself expanding as I was getting present to the fact that, you know what, there's like this theater of the mind thing occurring, and I'm like I'm in the nosebleeds, like watching this dude called Fire live, be, think, feel, react, respond. Like I'm watching it all happen, and that consciousness itself is what I've come to know as God. That consciousness, that intelligence, that level of consciousness is God. And so it's like 1%, probably less than that, to go back to your questions, probably less than 1% that I spend in that state. And I've actually did this analysis thinking, when I get there, I want to stay there in that place, that zen, that bliss, because it's peaceful. There's nothing going on, to Earth's point. Like, there's nothing going on. But I realize that I got to like come down so that I can communicate and converse and be in relationship with other human beings. Like, it's a weird thing, though. So answer your question,
Otherwise,
man.
we get weird. I know what you're talking
Like,
about.
I'll be like, yeah, what is this dude talking? What is he on? Like, I do feel like I have to like make myself human to get around this place.
To relate. I've actually gone through that, where you guys remember like 10 years ago when I took my little sabbatical, and basically I was meditating all day, and I had a little Zen garden, and it was this whole thing that I did about 10 years ago, when I right before I started my business and I quit my job and all that stuff. And it just is a weird state, what you're describing, Fire. It's a weird state where you just literally feel like you can't relate to stuff. And it's kind of like when you get into that real true place and someone comes to you and they're just like, like something on the stove is burning, and you're just like, oh, okay. And it's not even, it doesn't register to you that the whole house could burn down. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm sure you'll take care of it or whatever. But there's a whole lot of energy when you're the person that's kind of in that, caught up, like, hey, this is on fire, do something about it or whatever. When you're the person that's in it and you really are being that energy, then it's different than when you just are in that state of where it's almost weird, where you can't relate. I think Earth has said that. I've heard you, Earth, say that sometimes it's hard to relate. I mean, I would say, Earth, you're the most grounded one of us all. That's why you're Earth, man. Be down to earth, everybody.
He just said it like last week. Remember?
Yeah.
It's hard to relate.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just processing everything you guys are saying, and it all makes complete sense. And I'm looking at it I'm thinking about the question that Wynn asked: are you present when you're not thinking? And what I got is yes, you're present to your being when you're not thinking. In the same way that, so let me back up. So I was thinking about, okay, what I do on a day-to-day basis requires me to be extremely present for at least 10, 12 hours a day at the minimum, that because I'm interfacing with people, I'm interfacing with people's lives. My mind can't be, I have to be very present. I have to be with that person. And so it's two, for me, it's like two, sort of two dimensions of presence, at least two, maybe more, but this is just what I'm coming up with now. So let everybody know I'm literally coming to this now. So I'm making all this up as we go along. So I'm very, very, very clear about that. 1,000% clear. But when I think about it, when I'm sitting, for example, in my shrine room, right? When I'm there, that's a totally different level of presence that I experience, as opposed to me doing rituals. That's the level of presence. And when I'm divining for people, doing whatever. And so it's not, to me, it's not the same. When I'm in my shrine room, you're more in, I guess, what you can quote call a meditative state, because you're doing a lot of prayers and blah blah blah. Those things, you become very present to, like, the spiritual realm, extremely present there, and present to self, present to all of my thoughts in the moment, present to everything. Like the world just opens like that. So that's one thing. And then when I'm when I'm actually sitting with people, and for example, I'm divining for people, doing whatever, that is a totally different level of presence. That's more of a being with. So I'm being with people. There's engagement, but I'm totally present in the moment, because I have to be present to the spiritual realm, the physical realm, and to whomever is before me in the moment. And they're, from the way I'm looking at it now, they're not the same. So it's like different realms of presence. So I'm just kind of, tossing that around in my brain, putting it up against, like, okay, I know that I have to be present all day. I know how to be present when I'm in my shrine room. So those things I know, but they're different. So I'm in a totally different space when I'm in those different places. Now I'll even say 3, because when I'm doing rituals, that's a totally different space than doing divinations or just sitting in my shrine room. But I'm totally present to everything that's going on in the moment, and I know everything that's going on around me. So it's just interesting. So I'm gonna just stick a pin there. I'm just tossing this around. Just listen to y'all's conversation. So yeah, I'm working it out over here around presence myself.
I'm glad you articulated it like that, because that's exactly where I was going with it. When you are meditating, you're in a very peaceful and tranquil position, and you're present in the sense that you could, sense your body and sense the environment all around you. You're present to the fragrance of the air, the wind speed of the air. You're present to the sounds and the noises, and you're in a peaceful state. But there's another type of presence where you have tremendously prepared for something. So, for example, like Michael Jordan, one of my favorite athletes in the world, he prepared, each and every day to perform at a high level. And each time he touched the ball, each time he was on the court, he was fully present to being a high performing athlete and being in a zone and really being attentive to exactly what's going on and being so prepared that it's like second nature. It is your nature. I mean, that's a whole different type of living. That's a whole different type of being. You know, when I'm trading, you know, I prepared so much that it's like second nature. I anticipate things and, you know, I see things that other people don't see. And it's a whole different realm of being, you know.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. And I agree that different realm of being, I think, is the key. And that's what Earth said is the being part is a really probably misunderstood and overlooked aspect of it all because it does boil down to your being. When I am being Water the planner, then there's a lot of moving parts. And look, Fire and Earth, they've been dealing with Water the planner because we've been planning this elements trip that we're putting together. And so Water the planner is calling them, texting them, hey, you didn't respond to my text. Hey, we have to get this. Hey, we had one place that was perfect, and Fire and Earth took a real long time to respond, and so the place got booked.
30 minutes, y'all. 30 minutes.
No, it was a whole day, and so the place got booked, and I'm sitting there like, wow, really, wow. And so Water the planner had to then literally go within and sense the agitation and then just let it go. And to me, in that moment is a moment of actual presence to get back in tune with my internal being and then just say, hey, the place is gone. That is a fact. So nothing else is going to like going forward, nothing's going to be able to do anything. And so it's time to move on and just talk it out or whatnot. And it was really good that we talked it out because then Fire ended up getting a short straw where he's going to be sleeping on the couch.
Paying a much discounted rate, paying like 25% of the whole bill.
Oh, you missed that part of the conversation. There is no discount.
Fair and equitable. Fair and equitable.
Oh my goodness.
Goddamn. Smallest straw, last man to the mountain.
So with that being,
you can't join in all these reindeer games.
Exactly.
Maybe next year.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, that was a great example. That's a real life example for me where I literally in that moment I was present, and as Fire alluded to, it lasted for probably about 15 seconds where I was able to, but to me, that is a big win. That's a big win because I was able to basically move on from that. And think about how many relationships are decimated by someone who just didn't take a moment to become present and just say, hey, you know what? It really wasn't that important. You know what? Like, she didn't ruin it, or that was not his intention, or whatever it is, to just take that little split 15 seconds. And to me, when I thought about the title of this show, saying how being in the present moment can open up a whole new world. It opened up a whole new world for me in that moment, because we had a new trip that we were going on. There was no longer this trip where all of us had our own bedrooms.
That is hot. That is
Yeah.
the quintessential being with life, how it is and how it isn't.
Yeah.
Gets like that old 3-bedroom is old.
Dead.
It's rented. It's not possible.
It is gone.
All we have left is 1 bedroom, 2 bedrooms. That's it. And couch.
But we did get fire a nice queen sleeper sofa.
Man, I might just throw a wrench in the whole thing. We going back to Yellowstone. We going to Yellowstone. We going to Yellowstone. We get
Oh,
3
man.
beds. Keystone Mountain. We get 3
Oh.
bedrooms. Keystone, man.
Too late, man. Too late.
Too late.
Man.
That is expired as well, huh?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey.
Ooh. So yeah, that was a good moment for me. That was
That's
good
a
moment.
real share, bro.
Yeah,
Shout
yeah.
out.
That it actually is. It actually is. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, you see, I like to share with the most comical, as comical as it can get, because I think that you know, like sometimes people make it so serious when you get upset, or people are trying to look good so much that they try to pretend like, well, nothing ever bothers me. It's like, really?
Right.
It's like, really? Who are you, a robot? Of course something bothers you. Like, come
Right.
on. Come on. And that's why I was saying that so many times people kick around this term of, you know, I just get present in the moment, when, I mean, are you really getting present?
Mm.
Are you really getting present? You guys, I know that you guys have a share. I know you guys have a share.
Presence is being malleable. Just that just popped in my mind. That's presence. Being malleable as life occurs.
That's how you accept it. That's how you accept things.
Yeah.
You're pretty slow to anger, Earth, and slow to irritate. So what I got from you, Water, is what I was hearing was presence creates space. It helps to realign, regenerate, restore, realize, or reveal and redirect lower vibrational frequency responses and actions. It is. I now see it like my context of presence is like, it's like my context of water or my context of air. Like it is life giving. It's vital. It is essential to being human and doing life. So how in the way that Earth broke it down was that I saw the dimensions of it. Right, there's presence when I'm alone, the meditating and things of that, praying and things of that nature. There's presence with other people where I'm listening intently to what they're saying and empathizing. So I have a little bit of a different cut on it. I think you can be thinking and feeling and be present, especially when you're tapping into the vibe, the frequency of somebody else. Like what Earth said when he's doing his work, that's a presence. And then being a professional athlete, I can also relate to the in the zone type of presence. I think Earth, you described it when you were doing, 45 miles an hour down a mountain. Like you're not really thinking. You is it 55, 45? you're locked in, but you're not. It's 5 miles per hour, right? Speeding. So there are levels to this thing called presence. And with that being said, I will increase my percentage from 1 to a strong 5.
Okay.
To a strong 5%, man. I'm present for sure. Now, about a share, I got to think about that. Let's go to Win. He's been quiet, just being present.
All I was going to say is that, it goes back to what you said, last week, Water. You simplify it in one word is practice. You have to be intentional and practice, sitting down and relaxing. And with respect to being proficient at something, you have to be prepared. And to be prepared, you have to practice at your craft, whatever you're endeavoring, right? And then once you're on the court with whatever you're endeavoring, if you have practiced, well, you don't have to think about the past. You don't have to think about the future. You could just be in the moment and go with the flow. And like Irv said, life is malleable. It's like water and wind. You go with the flow. You could just be with it. So like, people ask me all the time. The market was down today. How was your day? The market was up this day. How was your day? Like, my day is my day. It is what it is. I don't care about the markets being up or the markets being down. Whatever comes that day, I'm gonna be with it and make the necessary adjustments to have the outcome that I want. And it's as simple as that. It's just like I said, Michael Jordan on the court. Doesn't matter if he has the flu. Doesn't matter if Scottie Pippen is sick. He's gonna jump on the court and behave in a manner of a winner and just be.
Remember, I used to think that presence had to do with, like, it took me back to elementary school where they would do the roll call and some kids would be like here, and there's always that one kid is like present, right? Breaks the whole little cycle of here, present. So it made me feel like as long as I'm here, like physically here, then I'm present. And it took a while for me to realize that it's actually my relationship that revealed to me that that my physically being in a space, occupying a space, doesn't mean that I'm present at all. And it took for my wife to show me like, babe, we don't never do nothing. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, we go on more dates than most people I know. Like, we've been together forever. We always on it. What are you talking about? I'm always home. She's like, you don't get it. You don't get this. Is a couple years ago, like 5-6 years ago. Like, you don't get it. You don't get it. Like, yeah, you're home. You work from home, and that's great. But your mind is always going and thinking about something else. So while you're next to me, we could be watching a program or having a conversation. I know, even if you're next to me, that you're not really next to me.
Wow.
Talk about being in a partnership or relationship and feeling lonely. Like, that was a red flag. That was a problem. That conversation eventually led to me leaving the company that I was with. Y'all know I was on the fast track to executive leadership. I left the company and left money on the table to have this space professionally. Well, it was less responsibility. Let's just call it what it is. It was less responsibility and more capacity to actually have nothing going on and move my whole family just to be a better version of myself in that area. So talk about it, share water. There you go, brother. Thank you for the invitation.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
Real good one. I like it.
What your share gets me present to, Fire, is that I'm just thinking about how the brain works. There's no such, you can't multitask. That is literally impossible for human beings to do. Literally.
The women are begging to differ. All the women are like, I don't know. Speak for yourself, man. That's a man thing.
No, the brain does not function that way at all. It may occur as though you're watching television and listening to the conversation at the same time. But what happens is your focus is going like a million miles an hour. Television, conversation. You're not like strictly focused on one thing at all. The brain does not function in that way. Nope, it does not. Um, or speak for yourself. I want to bring up. So I was looking at the comments. I want to bring up Danielle's comment. It's a very, very, very interesting. Actually, yeah, we can. Actually, it's the one below that one. So presence is an element. That's the one.
Oh,
That one. Oh, I didn't read the other one. Sorry.
the other one's good.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we can probably go back to that one, but
Yeah.
so presence is an element. Like when I read that, I was like, wow. And so I'm just thinking about like presence and like the space of presence, the energy of presence. I'm thinking about that in conjunction with fire, the energy of fire, the space of fire, the presence of fire, and wind and water, and all these elements. And I'm sitting here thinking, presence might be an actual element.
It is an immaterial element. It is an immaterial element. I had the same thought, like, wait, it's essential. I just said it was essential.
Right.
It is. So it's just immaterial, right? It's, you can see fire, you can feel fire. You can feel wind, you can see, touch, taste water, you can see, touch, taste earth, pause. But presence, not so much. When you stupid, it's immaterial. Yeah, it is. It's an immaterial element. Facts. That's facts, Danny. Good observation.
Yeah. Wow, that was.
Grab the other comment for us, Water. This one we want to unpack this one because this one is so this is from Danny Thomas on Facebook. She says that I personally spend less than 1%, going back to Water's question, being conscious and living in the presence or the present. I find it more and more difficult to meditate. My thoughts, this is like, I'm reading this in her voice. My thoughts be having conversations with my other thoughts, but I'm observing those. So in my present, they are my thoughts.
I would say yes. I would say yes. If you're observing your thoughts, then yes. It goes back to what Fire was describing earlier. If you are observing yourself, that you are actually in that. I mean, you're present. When you are being your thoughts, that's a whole different ball game. So I think to be able to separate yourself from those, in my opinion, you're being present. What do you guys think?
God, man, I got who's gonna watch this show? Listen, all right. I'm stuck. I'm just going to be with it as it is. So Danny, I know exactly what you're pointing to. And I've done this within my own consciousness, right? Where I'm observing the one who is thinking and feeling. And I've actually been in states where I am observing the one who is observing the one who is thinking, feeling, and I just keep going down this rabbit hole of observation. I swear to goodness, and it doesn't end. There's like you keep looking for a bottom of when you can't observe the one observing anymore, and it's infinite. You just keep going. It's like the multiverse versus there being a universe, right? It just keeps going and going and going. You think you got it. Okay, this is what the multiverse is, and you just keep expanding out, and there's more universes. So there's more like it's a rabbit hole.
You mean the metaverse?
The more relevant. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a mirror in a mirror, and it just there's no like try it. And I'm typically on some things in those moments when this exercise is occurring. If you picking up what I'm putting putting down in Cali, but it's real. It's a mirror on mirror, and try it one day. You'll just keep you'll be hours into it. You'll be like, I'm still observing. So where does it end?
Well, and that's a great space to be in, because there really isn't any end.
When you stupid.
I mean, there really isn't an end.
It is a great space to be in, by the way.
No, I mean it is. And here's the reality. Here's the reality of the whole situation. You know, the purpose of meditating is not to become an expert. The purpose is just to have that break. Literally, if you have a split second break in your thought stream, you probably are having more psychic, or like mental and relief, and more on your psyche, some sort of relief on your psyche, than probably 99% of the whole world's population, because very few people even take the time to break that stream of consciousness. So there really isn't there isn't an end. It's a bottomless pit, and you could go on and on forever.
Facts.
At least that's the way it is for me. As a person who actually does meditate, I may sit there and think the whole time. However, I don't really make that mean anything, and just say, hey, I sat down for my practice, and this is what happened today. So Fire, I think, getting back to your point, your little thought experiment there, just there doesn't have to be an end to it.
Right.
Well,
And who knows, you may discover something profound down that rabbit hole.
Yeah. That's why I be going down there.
I think that we are attached to what we perceive as reality versus reality itself. And the practice of being present is taking a step back and being conscious to what reality really is. Like I was saying, not thinking about, your job, not thinking about your family, and not thinking about your bills and whatever, but really, like, appreciating life for what it is, reality for what it is, the environment for what it is. We don't have a lot of appreciation of having our feet, on the ground, on the blades of grass. We don't have an appreciation of the flowers and the majesty around us, airplanes, and, the beautiful buildings, and the artistry, the fragrances, of the trees and the flowers. It's really about, that type of appreciation of life itself. We're so bogged down with, our employment and bills, and, what we have to do, or what we perceive we have to do, that, there's no appreciation of another type of reality that's around us.
Come on through. When? Gosh darn it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna take this down a place that's just gonna go where it's gonna go. But a question for you guys, as well as the elementals, who has ever experienced this level of presence, where all the constructs that you thought you were to Wynn's point dissipate. I'm talking about even the acknowledgement of being a Black man. It's gone. Like, that's a box. Like the acknowledgement of being an American, or an independent, or a son, or like all of these roles that we play, hats that we wear, it's just gone. Like, there's no it's oneness for me. As you talk about smelling the fragrances, seeing the flowers and the roses, and being in awe of all of creation and nature and all that man created, it's just like a childlike state. And for me, there's oneness. Like there's no um, silos or buckets or
Yeah, you're not
separation.
attached to a particular paradigm at that moment, right?
Exactly. Do you all experience that as well?
Yeah, I would have to say one like the first time I experienced it was in when was it? Probably 2000 when I was working in Brazil, and I really began to understand. Initially I said began to understand the world, but I really began to. It's really understanding being present,
Mm.
and it was the first time that I'd ever walked around and been in a space where, on a consistent basis, no matter where I went, my blackness had no relevance. I was
Mm.
just somebody walking down the street or catching a cab or whatever. It was never it was never relevant at all.
Yeah.
And that's when I really began to see things differently. Because I was just me.
Mm.
And I started thinking, I was like, wow, because really, if you really think about it, wherever you go, that's where you are. If you really, really, really think about it. And where you are is in the construct of that, whatever environment you're in, that's where you are. And being able to navigate that gives you your presence. Does that make sense? If I'm operating in the same way that I would operate here in the US when I was working in Brazil, I wouldn't have been present. It's not even remotely possible
Right.
because the context that I was in did not support that way of being that level of presence or that way of being. It just didn't support it at all. Period. And that's why I said you have to be like being malleable in presence gives you access to everything, gives you total expansion. It's
Yeah.
like when I go to when I go to when I travel to Africa, regardless of where I go, the notion of me being black never enters my mind at all.
Right.
It is not even a thought. However, the moment I get on the plane, land in Amsterdam, it becomes a thing.
Mm.
Literally, it becomes a thing. Especially by the time I get back here to the States. It's a thing.
Mm.
But while I'm there, it's not a thing at all. So presence is something that is based upon your willingness and your ability to be malleable. That's what it's based upon. Period. So yeah, those are my thoughts.
And being malleable can open up a whole different world.
Yeah.
And that's what
Yeah.
this is all about for anybody watching this, whether it's the elementals who are streaming right now or for anyone who watches this in the future sometime. It's all about opening up a new world that can open up some sort of new possibility for your life. That's what this is about. So by taking that one simple thing that Earth just described of being malleable, you can take that into your life and open up some sort of new possibility for yourself. I mean, that was perfect, Earth. And I think that just gives a different piece of language for what we were already describing. Because some people call it if you can accept things, and then people have to wrap their brain around that, like, wait, well, what do you mean? What if do I accept this or I don't accept that? However, if you just looked at it in the context of, hey, if I'm able to be malleable, right? Something just, I don't have to be exactly what I am. I have to be something different. That's it. What that is different doesn't matter as long as it is different. So I like that. Because that's really what we wanted to do with this show, is we just wanted to bring it so that everybody could actually, anyone could watch this and be able to take one little tidbit of information. And I think for myself, I actually got something for myself as well out of this, is that I want to look in my life. And I don't know if I need to put a little Post-it note somewhere or what, but just a reminder on my phone or something like that, my calendar, but just, where can I be malleable today? That's just a great question to ask.
Yeah.
Where can I be?
And I would say, challenge yourself. Whatever you do, if you're someone who meditates, if you're someone who prays to whomever, whatever you pray to, it doesn't matter. If you're someone who speaks to your ancestors, you do invocations, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't matter what you do. All you have to do is say that you want to master being malleable. Just make that request. And you'll see how you'll be literally put in positions where you have to practice being malleable. I became malleable through practice. I became extremely present through practice. It wasn't being present like that. It was not at all. No. Because even when I was a software engineer, I was present in that domain, extremely present. So present is someone, we could be in a planning meeting, and we're talking about the application. I've already developed my entire modules before we get out of the meeting. So I have hundreds of thousands of lines of code in my head already. That's a totally different level of presence. Then when I moved from that to, pretty much doing what I do now, I had to practice on being present in the spiritual realm. Like, really, it was practice. It didn't just come like that. I had to practice it. And I was fumbling and bumbling and stumbling all over the place. But I call it like I call it the drunken child, the drunken baby syndrome. We know in babies when they start learning how to walk, and they're just stumbling, and they're going forward and they're going back, and they fall. They stumble like a drunk man, a drunk woman. That's why I call it that. And what's the first thing they do? They crawl to the nearest curtains, chair, something, and pull themselves up and do it again. Is what they do. And so when you're learning to be malleable, or you're training yourself to be malleable, that's going to be your experience, because it will challenge every single aspect of your being, every single aspect, and even areas of your being that you're not even present to at all. It's what happens. So my request is that do that. But it's not for the faint of heart. I'll tell you that right now. It is not.
Yeah, I'm listening to you, and I'm like, I'm not doing that. Like, you hear this guy? Did you just hear what this guy said? He said to just ask to be put into situations where you have to be malleable. No, bro. Like, who wants to do that? Fire, you want to do that? Fire, you might actually.
I mean,
I know how prayer works, and he's right.
Yeah.
You know, when you're a babe in spirituality, you think that prayer works like Santa Claus. You think that prayer works like Christmas. You think that you close your eyes, get on your knees, you ask for something, and that very thing you ask for shows up under the tree. But life has taught me that when you go to prayer on something that you ask for, you don't get it in kind. You get a circumstance that requires that thing, that virtue to emerge. So no water. I'm not.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But I think we actually put you, we force you into that, bro, with the whole couch situation. So, just, hey, bro, just remember,
that's right.
Malleable, like this.
I'm taking it in stride.
You could get there on Monday. You could do that.
Oh man.
Earth, I got it covered, bro. I'm gonna offset all this BS by using water's bathroom. That's gonna be my toilet. It's my toilet. It don't even itself out.
Nice. Hey man, go knock yourself out, bro. Knock yourself out.
That's funny.
Yeah. So then closing comments. Wind, are you up next week?
I am.
Okay, so let's go around the horn with some closing comments. At Earth, I guess you go. Fire. I'll do my comment and let Wind close us out.
Unless you want to go next week, Earth, on speaking about manifestation. Would you like to do that?
You got it. No, you got it. You got
Wind. Why you trying to pass? Why you trying to pass?
He was just testing his malleability.
This isn't overtime. You don't get to defer, like to kick off the coin toss or whatever. You don't get to defer. Like, dude, you're up. Closing comments, guys.
Closing comments. All right, I'll go real quick. All right. So, a couple notes I got here. I wrote down for myself, doing my best supports presence. But I'm doing my best in the moment by being present in the moment and executing whatever it is that I'm out to executing creates an environment by which presence is more readily available because I'm not thinking, did I leave something on the table? Did I leave something undone? Was I ill prepared? There's no shame, right? I left it. So in football, we say leave it all on the field. Because if you lose the game, you might be sad about the result, the outcome, but you will go to sleep at night knowing that I gave my best. I did not leave. I didn't let my brother down. I executed the plays, the calls, the playbook. I made the right checks, called the right audibles. My technique was flawless. My footwork was flawless. I was where I was supposed to be. We lost. That's what happened. I'm not going to cry about it, but I'm going to sleep like a baby because I did my best. That's how I approach life, and I just got that in what Earth was saying. Second thing was be malleable, of course. I put being malleable equals expansion, bigness, and oneness. It gives us access to the realization that we have no clue who we think we are. We think we know who we are, but we have no idea. We have no idea. And the day we were given the name was the day our limitation started. The day I was given my government name, boy, son, is the day we started putting limitations or constructs around our existence. And then lastly, my last point is I put presence is the absence of resistance. The absence of resistance. To piggyback Earth's point about malleability, I see for myself is that when I'm not accepting of things that are, and I want them to be something else, or I have it that they ought to be something else, is when the pain and the attachment and thus the pain ensues. And so the absence of resistance, as they say in the church, let go and let God. I think this is what it means to do so. Be present, accept, be malleable. That's what I got.
Wow, nice. Well, you actually leave me with little to say.
Yeah, I know. This guy's like the king of notes.
I mean,
He's been transcribing the whole time here. So like I'm kind of like
right.
you, Earth. I'm like, man, what
I
am I
mean,
gonna say after that?
right. No, so I'll just say this. Mastery depends on how willing you are to challenge yourself, how willing you are to just be. That's what brings forth mastery. And so, if you want to gain mastery in around being present, just push yourself, just challenge yourself to be. This is to water and fire, to just be put in situations where you can gain mastery around being malleable, because it is uncomfortable, because all of your triggers will be hit, boop, boop, every single last one of them, beyond a shadow of a doubt. But if you're present when those triggers are being hit, just like Water said earlier, he said, "Look, this trip, I send out an email, send out a text message, said, look, we got this room, this is the cost, blah blah blah." We responded in 30 minutes, but he said all day. But that's another conversation. We leave that alone for now. But and when he said that he was able to be with his trigger and then push it aside, that's presence. It's really that simple. It's really easy. That's presence. And then say, you know what? This is a whole new trip. To be able to just say this is a whole new trip, that's phenomenal to get that. It's not the same trip. Just with one minor change. Taking away one bedroom and adding a pull-out for fire. That was it. Now it is a totally new trip, which it is. And so we literally start creating something totally different around this trip, just with one change, and water being malleable. So yeah, challenge yourself. I love challenging myself. So yeah, I'm gonna leave y'all with that. That's all I got.
I love it. Yes. This is great. I do want to put one last comment. Fire, you're our comment reader, so we've got to put this up. This is excellent right here. Fire,
To your point, whenever we get a testimonial, sometimes they happen like on the show live. So this is from Danny, and Danny says on Facebook, "I need an Elements calendar with y'all final thoughts as my daily quotes. These joints be words to live by."
Yeah.
Wow, I don't take that lightly, brothers.
Wow.
I I feel it.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Tremendous sense of responsibility. Thank you for that, Danny.
Yeah.
That's why we exist.
Yeah. And we will I really hate that I actually put that up there, because I know when you can look at him right now, he's like,
The whole
oh my
show.
God, guys. Look, from now on, we're gonna have to hit this guy. We see 12 texts up every day about the calendar and all of this. So
Oh yeah.
thanks, Danielle. We
Oh.
needed one more thing. We need one
We
more
got
thing to do.
deliverables.
Yeah,
We got
we have new
deliverables,
deliverables right now.
A what?
Deliverables.
What's that?
Exactly. Yeah. So we will. Yeah, we really appreciate that. So thank you. I definitely wanted to share that before I closed out. Look, it's Earth and Fire have summed this up great. This is a lifestyle to be able. It's a lifestyle for you to be able to simply check in. Okay, that's it. All you have to do, pick a point. So I call it meditation. That's when I try to go to no thinking. You could just have one time of the day, whether it's in the morning, right before you go to sleep, right before you eat lunch, after you eat lunch, whenever it is, where you just check in with yourself and say, hey, what am I dealing with right now?
Nice.
That could totally be it. And then you can use Earth's little malleability. Okay, so then how about I just, or am I willing to be malleable around that thing that I'm dealing with? And that could be a super, super powerful practice for anyone. very easy, very simple. And you can just set a calendar reminder for yourself to do it on a daily basis or once a week. You don't have to do it on a daily basis. And, simple practice that anyone can follow that could literally open a new world for you.
All
When?
right, so
Oh,
so Danny
yeah.
Danny said I'll await the calendar. So you know as we go to win. Oh gosh, this is crazy. Wynn actually called me about 3 weeks ago, maybe a month ago, and bounced this idea. I don't know if he talked to y'all about it, but it was exactly what Danielle was asking for. And he said that we should do it together. We should do a recap from our perspectives. We talked about like a elemental devotional, if you will, where post show each element gave their perspective, their takeaway, their notes from our perspectives, and we published them. So if we do a show every week, there'd be 52 pages.
So what Fire is really saying, everyone, is that Danielle Thomas is not a real person. It's actually Wind over there typing on his computer.
This is how I'm gonna get my bidding done. This is how I'm gonna get stuff done.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do. These guys will believe it if it's coming from Danielle.
Man, look at all this buy-in I'm getting.
Wow.
That's funny.
Oh, Danielle, we love you.
Yeah.
Yes. So thank you for the love, Danielle. And yeah. When go ahead, man, close us out.
And Danny, that book will be done. It'll be done 2022 for sure. We are going to do that.
Wind is going to do that.
Along with water,
we will get the text messages, guys. You got your quotes. You got your quotes, guys.
Right. Y'all know I got mine. Y'all can follow something for me.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Look, Fire. Mail this. I will cash app you the funds. We can next day this notebook to this dude, man, and he'll have everything he needs for the calendar. Take Venmo, Cash App, bro. Just tell me what you need.
We had a real conversation about our recaps after the show should be our quotes from the show. And that's how we compile the book. We do it in real time. Didn't we talk about this, Win?
No
I mean, Danielle.
Exactly. Hey, close us out, man. Close us out,
bro. Wait, real quick.
Oh my God.
Danielle says means y'all will take better notes. I don't take notes at all. I'm just saying.
There's only one note taker.
One.
Everybody knows who the note taker is here.
Yeah, but you do prepare for the shows. And so your preparation, along with the notes, along with the video, we can all recap and even streamline afterwards and make a nice, beautiful presentation for our
Danielle.
friend.
Danielle.
Yeah. Yes.
Danielle. All these ideas. You do prep for the show. Now we can see Danielle.
Oh my God! All right. Let's be malleable. Malleable.
You're right.
Flow with it. Let's get in the moment. Be malleable and allow Win to close us out with authority.
So to close this out, in my vantage point, it all starts with being intentional, right? So going out to the grass, taking off your socks and shoes, and being intentional about feeling the earth and feeling the grass blades. Being intentional about breathing deeply, breathing the air, feeling the air, enjoying the air, appreciating the air. Going out to the water, touching the water. Listening to the birds, watching the squirrels, enjoying the dogs outside, enjoying the beautiful architecture, enjoying the airplanes flying, enjoying art and music, enjoying times of silence, getting some peace and quiet, some tranquility. All that stuff is the is the genesis and the practice of becoming presence. In addition to that, presence and being powerful and living powerfully is a function of intentionally operating with excellence. Because when you operate with excellence, going back to what Fire said, you can sleep at night. You're always prepared to do your very best. You don't have to think about the past. You don't have to worry about the future, because you're committed to always taking it up a notch, right? And when you treat people with high integrity and you're kind to people, you honor and respect people, you don't have to think about the past or the future. You can just be. So I'll leave you guys with that. That's a very powerful place to be. You don't have to look over your shoulders, If you need something, somebody and you don't have it at the time, somebody will give it to you because you operated with excellence. You were kind to them. Everybody gets on me about talking about the Bible, but I love the Bible. I love the story of Jesus. He was able to walk from city to city without having anything attached to him, and he was well taken care of. That is a powerful place to be.
Kanye did that too.
You said Kanye?
Yeah. He did that. You didn't know? Recently. Sold off everything.
Right.
His whole life in the book bag. City to city, country to country, actually, continent to continent.
With 10 billions in an account, though.
He wanted to see if he can do it. Be
Right.
like Jesus.
Right.
He did it.
But anyway, I'll leave you guys with that. Operate with excellence and enjoy the outdoors. Enjoy the environment, what's around you. Enjoy the computers that you have. Enjoy the technology, the phones that you have. I mean, we don't even appreciate what's right there in front of us. We don't appreciate the people that's in front of us. It starts with being intentional and being appreciative of life itself. And with respect to next week, I have no idea what I'm going to talk about. But I promise you, it's going to be on time and it's going to be tremendously powerful. So join us next week, everybody. Until then, peace.
Later.
Peace.
Later.